Hey everybody, it's Ken Compton from the Savvy Inspector. Today I'm visiting with Malcolm Godwin, Chattanooga Home Inspector, and we're going to be talking about the success Malcolm has had in a pretty short period of time. Malcolm, welcome, sir.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Coach Ken.
I know that you have had some great success. It's been a privilege to work with you. So let me ask you this, Malcolm. I know you weren't a home inspector in your first life. Your mom and dad weren't home inspectors. And let's talk about what the heck you did in your first life and why you got into dang blame home inspection business.
All right. Well, I appreciate the compliments first off. It's also been with failures as well as success. So about me, before I started home inspections, I was a defense contractor. When I turned 19, I went to the Middle East and worked for the Department of Defense, doing all kinds of crazy battle damage assessment, working on vehicles, working on armor, you name it. I was off and on contracts for about 7 years in the Middle East, and then I came back to the United States and did another 4 or 5 years traveling to different military installations. So if you ever seen the big armored vehicles that the military uses, that was my subject matter expertise. We kind of traveled around, showed them how to fix it, how to maintain it, all that. Basically, we were driving around $1 million trucks, blowing them up and put them back together.
That sounds like fun, Malcolm.
It was a blast.
So what made you decide to get in the home inspection business?
So I had a good friend that was a real estate agent that told me to do it. I loved what I did, in the past. We were working with the war fighters, teaching them how to save lives is always, awesome, but I was doing everybody else's work. And the time that it hit me that said, I enjoy working, I really do. But if my paycheck can directly reflect how much I work, that was beautiful. So that's when I decided, that's when I decided to do something myself. And my buddy said, do home inspections. And I was like, okay.
What's a home inspection?
Yeah. That's what my first
what I had to do when I got into business. What's a home inspection? My friends are like, you got to be kidding me. You don't know a damn thing about it. You get full service fuel. That's cool. I'll tell you, before joining the Savvy Inspector program, what was your process for getting business?
That's a good question. So I knew, real estate agents were the key. So we bought a little bitty website, and then we kind of went around to some real estate agents to try to get business. The problem was I never provided that wow factor. We did the BS like everybody else does. Here's some donuts. Hey, here's a cold call. Use me. Here's a balloon. I think the biggest thing we did before the Savvy was some gourmet pretzels, and I was like, hey, that's awesome. That actually was. I mean, it did go over well, but it was only like one office. Then we did some cookies and stuff like that. But I mean, that was it.
So, if you could describe in one sentence the marketing that you did before you joined the Savvy Coaching Group, what would you say about that? What's the one sentence?
I could pretty much put that into one, 2 words. It'd be non-existent.
Non-existent, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we spent a couple dollars on a website, but like I said, cold calling some agents, and there wasn't a system, there wasn't a process. I looked at it as a home inspector instead of a business owner.
Right. So, what were some of the specific challenges you faced along the way?
Oh man, everything. Fortunately I got into the Savvy probably I think 3 or 4 months into being a home inspector. So, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know who to say it to. I didn't know. I mean, and I look back on some of the things that the Savvy helped me on, something super basic about how to present my report. The picture of the house, the summary. Basically, in retrospect, I didn't know shit.
And I think, what, Malcolm, I think that really sums up a lot of guys that get into the business. You're a great guy. There's other people you got in there for a reason, but you didn't really know what to do. So what was the worst part of that?
The worst part of
trying to market your business.
Well, I guess it was not having a plan. Now I'm very, and I have been in the past, very structured and very, plan driven, but I kind of just threw caution into the wind and said, like everybody, well, I'll get a home inspector's license and then I'll start doing home inspection. Like, oh shit, I got to get the phone to ring.
Yeah.
So really, my biggest problem was I was just driving blind. I didn't have a plan.
So it was the field of dreams, build it and they'll come.
Something like that, yeah.
I think that's the way it is a lot of times, don't you? Honestly, you said, I'll get my license, and then what happens is I'll get out there. No offense to the schools, because the school owners are personal friends of ours. And so what happens is you think, well, I'm going to get out there and do what they taught me in the school, which is drop your brochure and your business card off. And then what happens is the real estate agents will just use me. And no offense to the schools, because you know what, they're focused on teaching you the technical aspects, which there's a lot to that. Good Lord, man.
Sure.
There's a lot to that. So marketing is kind of an afterthought to the schools. And so what you'll learn there was, okay, cool, I'll try that. And then that might not work out so well.
And I've seen, in retrospect, I wasn't one of those guys, but we've interviewed a lot of cats to work with us that say, well, I followed my home inspector around and he was there for a couple hours and he looked at some stuff and I thought, hell, I can do that. So I went and tried to get my license. I'm like, well, yeah, you can do that. You can do that job, but getting the phone to ring's a different story.
Yeah. They'll be the best technician in the world, but that doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
So thinking back, not that many years ago, what led you to look for a different way? What was your thought process on that?
I had a real estate friend actually tell me that he had a business coach and it was specific to real estate. So I said, there's got to be somebody out there that's specific to home inspection. And then why the hell am I trying to reinvent the wheel? So I did some Google searches, found you and the Savvy, and the rest is history.
So how long did you look for a solution? A day or two, or did it take you a few months to search out everybody and research them and see who was who?
Actually, no. I don't remember the exact thing I Googled, but fortunately, you guys' shop at that time was located not too far from my house.
Right.
And I saw an upcoming workshop. I didn't really play a lot around on the website too much, but I said, well, let me just drive down there and check this out. I think I saw some reviews. I may have talked to Beth. So I honestly, I didn't think there was a lot of people out there that were offering coaching. And, and I wouldn't be specific. A lot of people say, oh, you got a business coach? Yeah, but a regular business coach that just doesn't, that focuses on a broad spectrum of business, to me, I don't really see that, because it's, unless it's somebody that founded Coke,
Right.
I want somebody specific in our industry to help me with problems, day-to-day problems, the big problems, whatever it is. So that's what I found.
So really what was important to you was somebody who was specific in the niche, a coach that was specific in the niche.
100%.
Okay. So was there any one thing that got you off the fence? Because, on the internet, there's two things, porn and scam. Oh, and then the Savvy Inspector. So was there any one thing? Because you know what? People can make a lot of commitments and promises online, can't they? Man, everybody can type on a keyboard. So was there any one thing that got you off the fence and said, wow, the Savvy Inspector really might be for me? You invested money to come to the workshop.
Yeah, as a lot of people probably feel in the beginning to go into a workshop, whether you got to drive or fly, let's say it's $500 or $200 or any amount of money that's spent in the beginning, it's kind of a lot, whether doesn't matter the monetary amount. But for me, I just said, let me check it out. And when I went to the workshop, I was really just sold in. I was never really on the fence. I just wanted to get a little education on that. And I don't know if you remember, but the first workshop, I said, wait a minute. I'm sitting in the back and I said, this guy's telling me I can do 40 inspections a month. I said, Ken, that's what I want. And you said, be careful what you wish for, because that's going to mean you work on Saturdays and you do this. And I said, I don't care. I'm doing like 2 a week now, and it's kind of paying the bills. So I was like, let me give this a shot. So I signed up for the coaching program right away.
So Malcolm, let's talk about it. You paid $597 for a 3-day ticket. That's a lot of money.
I mean, in the beginning, in retrospect, yeah, it was a pill to swallow. And then a hotel, and then, other kind of costs that are absorbed, yeah.
Now, those tents we had out back, they weren't that expensive, were they?
No, but they were awesome.
So what happened was you came to the 3-day event, and then you said, this might be the group that can help me grow my business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was it. So let's talk about how the TSI coaching program has helped you.
Well, again, I was in early, so it helped me figure out exactly, what I want to do, where I want to be, how to get there, to put the steps in place. And, I was already doing inspections, but I was able to make that a lot more efficient, to get a system that, so I stopped answering my phones. I was still answering I was one man all the way, but at that time, I was, my first thought was hire somebody that's not an inspector. That doesn't make sense. And I did, and God, it was beautiful. So the things that I was already doing, it helped me make it more efficient, and was able to work with the team to figure out what I needed to do next, depending on where I wanted to be.
So do you think that by being a member of the Savvy Inspector, you saved money by not going down the wrong path? Because what happens is we see clients implement strategies every day in the wrong way, and they lose money on that. That's crazy. So we try to give you the right way.
Yeah. Specifically, I can actually remember how I probably lost some money, and it was before the Savvy. I did some drop buys or something with, like I said, some gourmet some gourmet donuts or whatever the hell it is. But I realized once I was with the Savvy that if you don't continually do whatever it is you're doing, that's money wasted. So the website that I was throwing a couple $100 a month at, that was money down the drain. AdWords, because, that was okay, but it wasn't consistent. There was a lot of BS going on. That was throwing money down the drain. Right. Stopping by and even taking my time to say hello to somebody and not following up with them, that was a waste of time and money. So I didn't really get that. I do now.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this. Maybe a couple of quick wins that you got, some specific things that maybe after you came to the workshop, started implementing the Savvy Inspector program, maybe a couple of quick wins. You hired people pretty quickly, and you certainly came to the recruiting, hiring, and training. You haven't been in the business that long. I'm like, Malcolm is going somewhere.
Well, thank you for that. And I tell most people, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing what the coaches tell me to do. So, again, one of our biggest things were in the very beginning, you said, get somebody to answer your phones. I did that. It was phenomenal. Not only were they answering the phones, they were filtering all the bullshit out. They were able to work on our scheduling program, tweak that. Another specific example is one of our claims to fame now is we're Chattanooga's highest rated home inspection company. I think it holds true for the state of Tennessee now. But it was at a workshop in Fort Myers, and Beth said, hey, you need to do nothing for your services. And I said, man, that's kind of a lot of money. But she said, do it. Okay. I said, okay, coach, I'll do it. And then before then, we probably had like 3-4 reviews. And now we're, 180 or so reviews. But that has been probably our single most handedly the biggest helpful ticket, because it's not just for, and we go on and on about going direct to the public that we want to do, but it's not only the people that find us just on Google or any search. It's, hey, I got your number, or your name was on a card. You were on the 3 list from our realtor. But I checked a couple people out, and you had the ton of reviews. You had a kick-ass website. The other guy had a Facebook post. So it was just locking that down of some of the work that we were already doing. So that right there, I mean, the reputation management has been by far the biggest thing that we picked up.
So when Malcolm says done for you services, what the Savvy Inspector does, we have a group within our company that does online marketing exclusively for home inspectors. We also have another group that does offline marketing exclusively for home inspectors. So Malcolm, how long did it take you to start getting some success with the Savvy Inspector group coaching?
With the group coaching, it was, so with the group coaching, it was actually pretty immediately. So the one thing I picked up, one of the gold nuggets is when you get in front of real estate agents, you need to tell them you're not there to kill their deal. You're going to be thorough, but you're not there. And I kind of get that, but I didn't really get the verbiage. So oddly enough, I'd scheduled a sales meeting I didn't even know they were a top producing team, but they are. And they're now really good friends of mine. But it was scheduled for like a week or two after the workshop, and we'd scheduled this months out. And I'm just, what am I going to say? So I went in there and I just said, what I learned from the first place. And I said, the group coaching, and I'm asking some people at the Big Tent, what do I say? It's easy, man. Just go in there and tell them you're not going to kill their deal. There's tons of other things that we added on, but they said, okay, well, you're here to help us. Yeah, and our goal is for nobody to call me back or you back with problems in the future. When they call us back, they want us to buy another house, or they want to sell their house, or they want to tell us we did a good job. And that went over swimmingly.
Yeah, because there's no place in the standard of practice that says we have to be scary, is there? As a matter of fact, it's never mentioned.
Right.
So why are we being scary? There's no reason for that. I see all the time, two places you don't want to hear, oh my gosh, brain surgery and a home inspection. Because when you say that, you can't get the client back. You know what? They're like, freaked straight out.
Yep.
So when real estate agents understand they're going to be thorough so they don't get callbacks, they like that because callbacks are disruptive to their sphere of influence. And you're not going to be scary, man. That's a ticket. That's the ticket. So let's talk about on the group coaching program. When you came in, you probably thought, oh, yeah, porn and scam on the internet. Let's see what happens with the Savvy. And did anything go super well and better than you expected, just like implementation-wise?
Yeah, I mean, everything for us, nothing went bad. And we chose to implement some things versus others. One of the things that went better than expected was we were able to meet some fellow inspectors, some fellow business owners.
Uh-huh.
And now we have a relationship, a friendship. I talked to two other guys just today that I've met through the Savvy, and we kind of brainstormed on some things. I can remember a specific instance that I called one of the guys. I said, hey, man, I'm in trouble with a lawsuit. Can you help me? And everybody, that's in the group coaching program, they're there to help each other. So it's like, here's what you do. Bam, 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 bam. And it was phenomenal advice.
Yeah, because, it's not just about the coaches. We always try to give you sage advice about the experiences we've had. But the members, through our forums and other things, really, it's a spirit of helpfulness. There's nobody criticizing anybody else. There's everybody sharing, I did it this way and it worked, or I did it this way and it didn't work. Don't do it that way. Sure. So that's the Savvy Inspector. We don't allow negative people to remain in the group.
Even Coach William, he coaches fellow inspectors in his area, right?
Exactly. Us too. When we had it. So Malcolm, let's think about this. If you were to describe the Savvy Inspector coaching group to a friend, how would you describe it? A bunch of bums hanging around.
I would probably say the big white tent. That's what you need to know. No, I'm just kidding. For me, I would explain it to, somebody new as the most essential building block for a business. Unless you've been in the business, and unless you know what works for sure, and you've got a system that tests new ideas and a group that you can bounce ideas off of, it's the most essential building block for our business.
I mean, why not learn from people who've been there and done it?
Agreed.
I mean, reinventing a wheel is an ugly process.
Real ugly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it hinders your move forward. You know, every home inspector that we deal with has a different dream when they come to the Savvy Inspector. Some want to be great one-man shops. They don't really want to fool with the employees, and I get that. Some want to be multi-inspector firms, but have no idea how to get it. So what would you say to a home inspector that's stuck, or somebody that really wants to get into the home inspection business but isn't there yet?
As far as joining the Savvy coaching program?
I mean, yeah, just advice in general.
Sure. So, and I tell people call me all the time and say, hey, what is your advice about this? And I say, you know, for us, it's helped us go through to a multi-inspector firm, but that's because that's where I wanted to go. Early on, one of my competitors broke both his ankles and his business was shot.
Yep.
And, you know, I don't want to be tied business like that. That's not what we work for. However, I tell people quite often that being a one-person inspector shop, there's nothing wrong with that. Because guess what? You don't have to worry about managing people. You don't have to worry about workers' comp as much. You don't have to worry about motivation. You don't have to worry about the systems. You don't have to worry about guidance. But you can make a beautiful thing where, you know, you get the business to where you can tell some of those the riffraff that's always sending you, you know, 100-year-old house that wants $100 off the price, that's a pain in your side, you can just tell them no. But whether you want to go a multi-person firm or you just want to stay a one-man band, I think that's awesome. But if you do want to stay a one-person shop, the coaching program makes everything efficient, and it's gonna streamline that process for sure.
Yeah, we have clients, as you well know, you're friends with them as well from the Savvy, that are one-man shops that are well run. They make a, you know, gross revenue 140 to 170, 175 in that area. And I'm going to tell you, when you deduct your expenses, that ain't a bad living anywhere. And they don't have to have an employee manual. Oh, the dreaded employee manual, don't make me have that.
85 pages of non-compete, phone clauses, and vacation, you know, agreement. I mean, all that.
What pictures have to be in the report? Do you have to have the inspection agreement signed in advance of the inspection? Employee reviews.
Yeah. Do I have to pay for uniforms, tools, general liability?
Exactly. I am not owned.
Yeah. You know, as a one-man person shop, I thought it was nice because I knew exactly what I did. So I wouldn't have to call and say, hey, so-and-so saying this. So there's a beauty in that.
Yeah. You know, but without leveraging the efforts of others, you can never reach your real financial dreams for most of our folks. And you mentioned it earlier, if you fall off the roof, guess what? You're out of business. And when you take a vacation, there's no business. And so there's a lot of benefits to being a multi-inspector firm. There's kind of a lot of hassles to it too as well.
Big risk, big reward, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, Malcolm, let me ask you this. If I told you today that the Savvy Inspector was going away, closing down, how would you feel about that, both for yourself personally and for the business?
Yeah, you know, I read that question earlier, Ken. And I was kind of wondering. I was really just hoping that was some, you know.
It's just a question, I promise you.
Well, thank goodness.
I'm not that old.
I can't answer that. I tried to, you know, jot down, you know, something, but nah, man, that just wasn't funny. I read and I said, the inspector, what? It's got to be a typo. No, the Savvy has guided us in ways that are unbelievable. So no, I would just, you know what, actually, to be honest, it would probably be good because it would probably be good in a way. Because I'd say, okay, we're going to shut down the home inspection company and we're just going to do something else. We're going to start a company where we sell online where we don't talk to anybody.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, Malcolm, how about if you had anything else to say to home inspectors? You know, our forte, our really avatar, our target audience is one-man shops, whether you've been in the business 18 years or you're brand new or not in the business yet. And then we build on your dreams. You tell us what your dreams are, and then we help you get there. And we have home inspectors that started as one-man shops with us, and how that 15, 20, 25 inspectors, they're still hanging out here. So how about anything you might want to tell somebody watching this video, what's in it for them by teaming up with a Savvy?
Sure. So you recommended a book to me. I think it was The E-Myth Revisited, but it broke down and it said, if you want to go in business, you have to realize that there's a technician, there's a manager, and there's an owner. You got to figure out what you want to be in that business, and then capitalize on that and do that specific task, or you're just going to run around in circles. You're not going to be happy. Your business is going to run your life, and it's pointless. You might as well, flip burgers for no responsibility and go home and enjoy yourself. So the biggest thing, the takeaway for me was, I want to be the owner. I don't want to be the manager even, Do I enjoy being the technician? Sometimes, because I kind of like diagnosing some problems, I like talking to people a little bit, but I want to be the owner that says, if you look on my board over here, it says our next objective is videos with partner vendors. That's the stuff that I like to do. And that's the stuff that I want to build a company on. And the cool thing is, we provide really good jobs. We pay everybody good. Everybody says they really enjoy working with us. Our office staff works virtually. Our marketing person keeps saying it's the best job she's ever had. Our inspectors say it's awesome. Now, is there hassle? Yeah, there's always a hassle. But, we provide awesome jobs, and that's what I want to do.
So, Malcolm, how long have you been in the business?
3.5 years.
And do you do home inspections today?
Yeah, I got to a point where I didn't, and then I got back into it just because we had a fallout with a person or two. And my one goal is actively work not to do it anymore.
Yeah, so a couple people fell out of the firm for whatever reason, and so you had to jump back in. But it's not your goal to be a home inspector.
No. And again, I don't mind doing it. I just know that while I'm doing it, I'm taking away from some of that owner responsibilities that I could be growing the company and everybody involved will be happy instead of basically putting a Band-Aid over a bleeding problem right now.
So really what you're saying is you don't want to be a home inspector. You want to be a marketer of home inspection services.
Absolutely.
That's it. And I think for many owners, that works. And I think for some owners, it doesn't work. We have clients that say, I'd like to do a couple or 3 inspections a week, but I want to choose. I don't want to be on the schedule. And then we have some owners that say, I really love what I do, serving the client. After the end of the day, I've helped 2 families really make the right decision about a property, and they love it. So I guess what happens is we're going to make everybody a marketer of home inspection services, whether you do the deed or don't. Sure. But I think that our job at the Savvy Inspector is to understand what your dream is and then to help you make that come true. So, absolutely. Anything else before we close today?
Sure, Ken. That was a question that was asked, and I know the answer. The question is, would you refer the Savvy to a friend?
Now that is a scary question.
So hold on. Let's pause for a second. We're gonna edit this out. So the answer is actually to me a little different. I know the answer for most people is sure, as long as they're not in my market.
That is the exact answer.
So hold on though. So after some thought, we've reached out to some of our local competitors that we know are good. And my thought is, if we can have, let's say a couple people in our market that implement some of the same things, they're probably not going to do it as well as we do, especially right now. And we've got, a tons of friends that we got that are tight, that I know are not going anywhere. But if we can shoo away all the riffraff and we can get rid of these people that are offering, we got a company out there now that offers $75 off whatever we're charging. Only us. Only what we're charging because they want to undercut us. So if we could build a
network,
a conglomerate of good people that do the same thing. Guess what? Our average price of $400, we can get together and say, hey guys, I'm doing this. Cool. I'm not going to do this. But you know what we should do? Let's raise our prices from 400 to 500 because we're all the best. I mean, we're the industry leader. Why are we not doing that? So I think we're kind of fighting against ourselves when we're not trying to get us together as a whole. And then you got some dirtbag out there that's doing a bad job, and that's just bad for our industry. So my answer is, yeah, I'll refer them to people in our market and that's not in our market.
Right. And you know what happens is, Malcolm, we did that as well. We owned the Southern Home Inspection Service here in 1997, and we built it up huge. And we probably had 10 savvy members here in Atlanta. And we looked at those people, not as our competitors, but as our colleagues. And it was us 10 against everyone else. And what we did was we raised the bar. And people, real estate agents, we only marketed to the affluent at Southern Home. If you wanted to pay our price, if you were not affluent, we'd still serve you. But you had to pay our price. And what we found was that when we were too busy or somebody needed an inspection in an area of Metro Atlanta that we didn't want to go to, we had a quality alternative for the client and the agent. And I think you got the right attitude. But the reason why I laughed earlier is because most people say, I'll recommend the Savvy Inspector to everybody that's not in my market, but I don't want to have to compete against other savvy members. And that's when I wrote the marketing plan or business plan for the Savvy Inspector in 2005. I said, everybody will love exactly what we do. We'll help them grow their business, achieve their dreams, and they'll refer us to their friends. That didn't work out so well. No. So I'm glad to see you have the abundance mentality instead of the scarcity mentality. That's a beautiful thing.
I mean, we look at it, let's say there's 10 people and you got, a certain person, there's a ton of work out there. And maybe it's, I talked to my competitor and I said, hey, we fired this one agent because he was a pain in our ass. Guess what? He does a lot of work though. Why don't you go after him?
Yeah, you enjoy the pain associated with this guy.
Yeah. But let me just warn you, do this and do that, But I think, we could raise the bar altogether, like you said.
All right. Well, you know what, Malcolm? You've been a real privilege to work with because you came in, you had something in mind. 3+ years, less than 3 years, you had a multi-inspector firm, you got an office, you got a marketing person. So I'd say that he who implements wins. What do you say?
I say he who implements first wins first.
He who implements first. Don't let these other losers get in front of you. That's hilarious. Well, Malcolm, thanks very much for chit-chatting with me today. I think a lot of home inspectors, have done 64 home inspections in their first year. They're discouraged. They think they're going to have to go back to work for the man, and that isn't true at all. You can hook up with a savvy inspector. You tell us what your dreams are, and we'll help you. And again, everybody's dreams are different. So we're not here to say you have to work with realtors or go direct to the public or be a multi-inspector firm. You tell us, and then we'll assist you to get there.
Absolutely.
All right. So, listen, thank you very much, Malcolm, and we wish you continued success, sir.
Thank you very much for your help and for having me today. So thank you.